We're picking things up as Scheherazade gets ready for her 25th night with King Shahryar, and after that last incredible story of Hassan Badr al-Din, you know she's got something truly special lined up. But before we jump into a brand new tale, let's do a quick rewind. Remember how that wild story of Hassan Badr al-Din wrapped up? It was this crazy whirlwind of trickery and thankfully a pretty heartfelt reunion. So after a whole 10 years apart, a single dish, pomegranate stew, of all things, ends up being the clue that unravels everything. His own uncle, the vizier, pulls off this super elaborate prank, making Hassan think the entire 10-year nightmare was just some bizarre dream. But it all ends well with this huge, joyous family reunion. The story was so good, the caliph literally had it written down in the royal records. Just when the king is thinking, okay, that's gotta be the strangest story ever, Scheherazade, of course, dangles some fresh bait. She hints at a tale that's even more bizarre, even more tangled, involving a cast of characters that sounds like the beginning of a very strange joke. And with that, our new story kicks off. We're not in a grand palace this time. Nope, we're in the busy streets of a city in China, inside the humble little home of a tailor and his wife, who, as it turns out, really love to have a good time. So they're walking home one evening, and they spot this hunchback who is just so funny, so animated, that his very presence could make the grumpiest person you know crack a smile. On a total whim, they invite this complete stranger to come have dinner with them. The tailor goes and gets some fried fish, and the whole evening is just filled with laughter. The wife, just caught up in the moment and joking around, shoves this huge piece of fish in the hunchback's mouth and dares him to swallow it in one go. And the joke just turns to absolute horror in an instant. A sharp fish bone gets stuck deep in his throat. And just like that, their guest is dead. Okay, so let's pause right here. A fun, casual dinner party has just become a potential crime scene. And now they've got a body they need to get rid of. Utter panic sets in, and they don't even think about calling for help or reporting the accident. Their one and only thought is, we have to get this body out of here, and we have to do it now. So what's their first move? Pass the blame. And in their terrified minds, who's the perfect person to pin a mysterious death on? A local doctor, of course. So they cook up this plan. They'll pretend the hunchback is their son, who is terribly, terribly sick. They carry the body through the dark streets, prop him up right on the doctor's doorstep, bang on the door, and then just disappear into the night. The doctor, woken from a deep sleep, comes rushing down his dark staircase and trips right over the body, which goes tumbling down to the bottom. In the pitch black, he checks for a pulse. Nothing. He is now completely convinced that he just accidentally killed a patient. And just like that, the doctor and his wife are in the exact same nightmare the tailor just escaped. They've got a dead body in their house, and they're pretty sure it's their fault. So what's their brilliant, panicked solution? They haul the body up to the roof and lower it down the chimney of their next-door neighbor. And who is their neighbor? The Sultan's steward, who, wouldn't you know it, has been complaining about thieves getting into his kitchen. So the steward gets home, lights a candle, and sees a man just standing there in his kitchen. Thinking it's the thief he's been worried about, he grabs a huge mallet and just swings with all his might. The body hits the floor, and now he thinks he's a murderer. So let's keep track. This poor hunchback has now been killed 3 different times by 3 different people. Drowning in guilt, the steward knows he can't just leave a body in his house. So under the cover of the last bit of darkness before dawn, he throws the corpse over his shoulder and heads out into the empty streets. He props the body up in a dark alley, figuring someone will find it in the morning. But at that exact moment, a Christian broker, completely drunk, is stumbling home. He sees this dark figure and assumes he's about to be mugged, so he winds up and lands a massive punch, knocking the body clean over. The broker, thinking he's a hero who just fought off a mugger, starts yelling for the night watch. The watchman shows up and finds the broker standing over a dead body. The conclusion seems pretty simple. A Christian has killed a Muslim, and the penalty for that is death. And this is how one tragic accident spirals into this unbelievable chain of mistaken guilt. You've now got 4 different people from totally different walks of life, and every single one of them is absolutely positive that they, and only they, are the murderer. So the broker is taken to the gallows. A crowd gathers, the noose is put around his neck, and the executioner is ready to go. But right as the order is about to be given, the Sultan's steward comes bursting through the crowd, screaming for them to stop. He confesses to everything, finding a thief in his house, striking him with the mallet. His story is so convincing that the guards actually release the Christian and get ready to hang the steward instead. But wait, before they can go through with it, the Jewish doctor shoves his way to the front, shouting his confession about the man who fell down his stairs. So the noose comes off the steward's neck and goes right onto the doctor's. And just when you think the scene at the gallows cannot possibly get any more absurd, the tailor, the man who started this whole mess, finally shows up, breathlessly confessing the real story. The dinner party, the fish, the joke that went horribly, horribly wrong. The executioner has no idea what to do. I mean, he's got 4 people all claiming to be the killer of one dead man. The story of this well-traveled corpse is so unbelievable that word spreads like wildfire, all the way up to the Sultan himself. The Sultan summons all 4 men and the hunchback's body to his court. And it turns out he recognizes the hunchback. It was his own beloved court jester. He listens to each man's crazy confession, and the sheer absurdity of it all, this cascade of panic and guilt, is so entertaining to him that he pardons everyone involved. He even declares the story has to be recorded for history. But just when you think it's all over, the Christian broker, who was seconds away from being executed, steps forward and makes an incredible claim. He tells the king that his own life story is even stranger and more amazing than the one they all just heard. And that leaves the king with a whole new puzzle. Which is, of course, the perfect question to make sure that the king and all of us will be on the edge of our seats, just waiting for Scheherazade to begin the next night's tale.